first clip I will show you is about awareness, okay? It is about what is happening on the pitch around you, even if you don't have the ball. I knew there was 2 players behind the PSG player, Renato Sanchez. So I'm thinking, if I get the ball, I'm launching it. I get the ball. Now, my 2 players behind him, they're not in frame. But if you look on the radar, I have 2 players clearly shown in white behind Renato Sanchez. At this point in time, my opposition, he is just thinking, oh, I'm going to try and get the ball. What he doesn't know, in the back, off screen, it is 3 against 2. So, as soon as possible, I send it. And I want you to pay attention closely to the power gauge of Modric also. I put all the power in this pass. I send it. To the point, my player has to run with the ball because it's moving that fast. And if you can see at this point, clearly, it is 3 against 2. What would you do in this scenario? Most people would run it with Rodrigo up the wing and try get it to Benzema, okay? However, you can get it to Benzema, but I'm not going to go the route you think. As the play progresses, you can clearly see it is going to Vinicius Jr. He has a little white dot on his head, so the ball is going to him. As soon as Vinicius receives it, what does Benzema do? The defender, Hakimi, his first instinct is to come and get the ball because the game is just a game. Everybody wants the ball. So my tactic is always put the ball in a position where you want the opposition to run towards. And he does exactly that. He gets hungry, he wants the ball. So now I've opened up a gap. This is a crucial part because I've noticed every time I play against PSG, Hakimi always gets out of positions. So I always play to this strength. Mess with Hakimi. Hence why I didn't give the ball to Benzema from Rodrigo. So from this point on, I then send the ball straight behind Hakimi to Benzema. And I won't stress this enough. Sometimes we always put ourselves in positions where we see more of the goal. And sometimes people shoot when they see less of the goal. I'm always a big believer, try to see all of the goal or more of the goal. So in this instance, I know I'm going round him because Hakimi's out of position, goalkeeper is going to come up. And that is what exactly happens. Goalkeeper comes out and gets punished. Now you can watch the goal in its entirety. This next clip is called the solo run. It is not typically I'm running from the halfway line to the goal. No, no, no. I'm going to use a player to make a run, but it is about when I will allow the player to run. So as you can see, I start off with Vinicius Jr. on the wing. What would you do in this situation? Most people would be like, I'm going to pass it Benzema, do a through ball and try to run over towards goal. I do things slightly different. I like to keep the ball, okay? And I need support. It's always about support. Because if the defense get in a good position and they start blocking you off, you start dribbling it all around like we all do, and we get confused. Just like you would do, the play progresses. Benzema gets the ball. At this point, you might give the ball to Vinicius or run it with Benzema. I hold the ball with Benzema. Now, in this clip, you can see it's not just 2 of us up there now. It's not just Benzema and Vinicius, okay? We got Tchouaméni up in the middle. Rodrigo, you can see him on the far side. Modric is in the middle. We have Cruz with us also. I then want to send it to the middle. Look how much men they have back. They got 4 men on the left side with Vinicius. By Benzema coming to his left side, has dragged all the players from their midfield to this side. So now there's a hole. In this situation, it's very easy to think, I'm outnumbered. But you're not, because I'm facing the goal, and I got 2 players to my right, Modric and Rodrigo, and to my left, I got Benzema and Vinicius. In this position, this is when I always say to people, this is when you can do your solo run, because you can go left or right of the person in front of you. As the game progresses, I go left. I had 2 choices. I went left. He decided to go to his left, which is my right, and he messed up. Something you have to remember, the AI is controlling your team. At this point, you can see that the AI starts to control the opposition's defenders. Their number one thing they want to do is get in front of the ball, but not try to tackle the ball. So they want to get in front between the goal and the ball. And if we go forward a few frames, you can see exactly what happens. One player tries to cover the other player of mine in the box, and the player in front of me wants to stand there a little bit. I know that the keeper isn't center of the goal also. The keeper is to the right side of the goal. That's why I'm going to go to the keeper's left, which is my right. And I'm going to push the ball a slightly bit to the right, so I align it to the corner that I want to score. And in that moment, I know I'm going to score, and I know I'm going to score from a very long time ago, because I've got the confidence that I can do it, because I've done it many times. So it's always about practice. It's always about working on your game. Sometimes I make it up at the end. Sometimes I have a clear plan. But all I know, from defense until midfield, and until it gets up 2/3 of the pitch, I have a plan. When it comes up in the last third of the pitch, I have a plan, but it can change. So now I will play the goal in its entirety. This next clip is all about patience. You can see I have the ball in the middle of the park. Cruz dribbles the ball up, and I want you to pay attention. From this point on, I stop the ball. And it's why do I stop the ball? Back to a few clips before, the square. So I stop the ball, and then my man slowly runs into place, okay? So I give him the ball. As you see, it makes a square. So now in this position, I can do anything with the ball. It can go up the wing to Vinicius, go back to Cruz, or it can go to my left back, Alaba. What would you do in this situation? I chose to hold the ball a little bit longer, and then I passed it to Alaba or Mendy. At this point, the square is still intact. Now Mendy has a choice to pass it to Vinicius, Benzema, or Cruz. In this scenario, once again, what would you do? Now that I have my players up, I can do anything I kind of want with it now. We're about to go in the last third, and we are in complete control. You're probably thinking Vinicius and Benzema, they're both running into the same hole. You're right, they are. They're going to try to, but that's what the defenders think. I know when I receive the ball, I know what I'm going to do, what direction I'm going in straight away. So as I move frame by frame, you can see it unraveling. Benzema runs around the outside and not the inside. Vinicius then takes the ball. Vinicius is now clear of the player. Now look at the numbers I got. Virtually, it's 3 against 3, or 3 against 2, because the right back, he's nowhere to be seen. As I progress a bit more forward, Benzema is offside, and the goal that I wanted to score is going to happen now. So I launch it. I want you now to watch this goal all in one go, and I want you to pay attention to the square, and I want you to pay attention to their movement and the space that's created from nothing. This next clip is a very good one. Different from the last clip, I have the ball. We've all done this before, but it is about why I have done this and how can I do this again and again and again. I run up the wing, and as soon as I get to this position, I have 4 players, and all 4 players are creating a square. This is very important. You want your players to create a square because you always have a person to pass it to in any direction that you turn. So as I progress a bit more, if I want to pass it back to Modric, I can. If I want to pass it to Benzema, I can, or Rodrigo, I can. And in this situation, I will ask you again, what would you do? Most people would run it, as you can see. They would run it through that channel. It's about exploiting the defense. It's about creating space. It's about giving yourself more time to think. So the first thing I do, I want to pass it to someone. And we all do this. I pass it to Benzema. I want that 1-2 attitude from my player, so of course I hold down L1 when passing it, and then my player will keep running on. We all know this. And also, because Benzema has the ball, you've got the defender now highlighted by the opposition, and they're going to come towards Benzema. You can already see that the left back is out of position, and that Marquinhos is going towards Benzema. And as soon as Benzema releases, look at that space. We are going, and we are gone. But they don't know it yet. So knowing these tactics beforehand is very golden. It lets you get into space, it lets you create goals, it lets you know you are going to score down the line. And as the clip continues, Rodrigo controls it, goes forward, and because I have left the defence and Rodrigo's on the ball, the opposition has no choice but to bring the keeper out. He brings him out very early, and Rodrigo will punish him. You can now watch the clip in its entirety to see the goal in fluid motion.